Hello, everyone, and welcome to week one of our course. Making videos is a large part of what I do as a teacher online, and it's my main way of communicating with you. So in addition to the videos that you'll find each week accompanying the readings, I will be sending out videos periodically just discussing what's happening in the course. So it's my main way of communicating with you. So I'll be doing this on a regular or semi-regular basis, and so I'm going to talk about the idea of week one of the course. Obviously, this is a course that has a particular focus, and that is on digital technology and the ethical issues, ethical problems, ethical challenges that are raised specifically by the growing presence power of digital technology in our everyday lives and the tremendous problems that are raised. But this week there's really nothing particular to do with that. This is a sort of a preparatory week where we're looking at what I'm calling traditional ethical decision-making frameworks, which is basically Kantianism, which I've boiled down to the categorical imperatives here, and John Stuart Mill's greatest happiness principle, and then some supplementary material here from the BBC website on consequentialism, utilitarianism being a form, probably the main form of consequentialism. So why are we doing this? Well, I hope that I've explained that in the course overview videos, the course outline. But we're doing it because in the larger idea of the course, everything will be challenged in week 4 when we read Hans Jonas's Technology and Responsibility, in which he questions the viability, the sufficiency of traditional ethical decision-making frameworks like Kantianism and utilitarianism because of the challenges of technology. But I thought that before we got to that, we should have an idea of at least some of the ways in which philosophers here specifically have thought we should actually approach moral problems. That is, on what basis do we decide the rightness or the wrongness of an action? And the idea in the first part of the course, the first 3 weeks of the course at least, is to familiarize ourselves with these approaches, these ethical philosophies, at least seen, sort of boiled down to practical decision-making frameworks. And then in weeks 2 and 3 to perhaps use them, employ them to analyze the issues of autopilot and the Facebook experiment. Week 3 we'll be looking at. That at least is the idea. And then again, after week 4, sort of saying, well, Jonas has this idea, not specifically about digital technology, but about technology in general, that frameworks like Kant and utilitarianism are no longer sufficient for us to make responsible moral decisions, that we need something new because of history, because of the way that technology has changed. I think that is a very interesting thesis, and we will be exploring it in, I hope, some depth, seeing what, testing the soundness of that thesis in the last 7 weeks of the course. So this week, you really should be thinking, though, just about what's here. Kant's moral philosophy is a very vast thing. I mean, it's a very big, imposing thing, but I have boiled it down to what I consider to be its essence, and that is the first 2 categorical imperatives. So you should understand what they are, what he's saying in these 2 excerpts, these 2 brief excerpts. The first categorical imperative about universalizability, the second one about respect for persons, and how that can think about how that can actually be employed as a way of making moral decisions and analyzing ethical situations. John Stuart Mill's greatest happiness principle, very simple, at least on the face of it, simple, maybe not in the long run very simple, but a very clear idea of the basis basically for right and wrong, what makes something right, what makes something wrong. This is spelled out a little bit more in a little more detail on the BBC website. You should definitely take a look at that. So what we're doing this week is really kind of preparatory. We are looking at traditional ways, 2 very important ways in the history of philosophy that major philosophers have suggested we should go about making moral decisions, deciding between right and wrong, and analyzing the ethical situations that arise for us in life, and then we'll be going on in weeks 2 and 3 to look at particular issues that do involve computer ethics and seeing if they, how they might apply and, how these issues might be sorted out. Not exclusively in terms of Kant and utilitarianism, but certainly primarily in terms of them.